The photo exhibit, which was of something we wanted to offer to our open reception guests and visitors, happens to feature the Chinese community in Jamaica over the last 150 years.
The Hakka photo exhibition was a combination of photographs that we had seen already published in the Canadian Chinese Hakka book that was published by Patrick Lee, and as well there were exhibitions from the museum that was set up in the Chinese Benevolent Association in Jamaica.
Luckily, we had archival photos of the Chinese in Jamaica over their fairly long history.
And what also was very informative for me was photos of the Chinese cemetery in Kingston, Jamaica, and that's where my mother was buried, and many of our ancestors who had come to Jamaica earlier in the early 1900s.
Like other communities, what do you see when you capture 150 years of history? You might see some people involved in things like the wars, maybe World War I, World War II, the Chinese community, the men participating in that. You might see the formation of their own first public school for the Chinese community. You might see their commerce, the way they made a living in their shops and bars and in the villages and towns and in the city of Jamaica. You might see their celebrations, such as their weddings, their big gatherings of many generations.
The reaction was delightful to see people recognizing themselves or their families in these photos.
Many of the guests were delighted with the photos. They brought back the memories of their own time in Jamaica, or of their parents, their lives in Jamaica, or merely a historical curiosity, you might say, no different from looking at National Geographic and seeing something of interest.
Not only were people viewing the photographs, but they were happy to take photos and calling other people's attention to be taken beside the photograph themselves.
So there was the connections that people made because of their own history or history of their family. And there were connections people made simply because, from a cultural or even anthropological standpoint, this was something of interest as people.
Everyone was delighted to see other people that they recognized and ran out of the gallery to find them, to show them. It's a matter of sharing. And although they were from a different country, they also had lived a similar way. They also had a Chinese school. They lived on top of the business. There were churches. They had the local people also involved, and a little brief history of the migration of the Chinese to Jamaica.